Right, so we're going to welcome to our shoulder cars introduction, and we're going to start in supine or on our back. All right. So again, the purpose of our cars first and foremost is to kind of scan our shoulder for pinch points as well as areas that move quickly. All right. What we want to do is we want good controlled motion throughout the entire car. So as I'm moving this way, the whole thing should be slow and controlled. All right, what you'll find is in areas where you don't have good control, you're going to want to skip over and move quickly through. We'll talk about what to do about that as well as pinch points as we go along, but let's start on our back here. All right, so first and foremost, what I want you to do is you're going to press your back into the ground. All right, so we're keeping our abs on. I'm going to take my other hand, push it into the ground to create some tension here. And I'm going to start to raise my arm overhead. I'm going to get to the top here, to where I can't flex anymore. I'm going to start to turn my palm to face backwards, and I'm going to do a big circle around like this. All right, I'm going to come to the end here, kind of right by my side. Notice that as I'm going along, my hand continues to spin, so it's facing kind of behind me if I were standing up, and then I'm just going to do the opposite motion. I'm going to come to the point where I can't rotate anymore, start to come back around. Okay, one more time. And again, scanning my shoulder for both pinch points as well as motion. I do this pretty well, if I do say so myself. And I'm moving relatively slowly and controlled. So I know that this position I can control pretty well. And I might even come back to this position to do things later on. But as far as a training stimulus goes, this is probably below what I need. So that means that I'm going to move up to my next level, which is going to be side lying. All right, so for side lying, again, it's just a little bit more weight bearing. I'm in this position. I'm going to take my hand and start to push into the ground. Okay, so again, I'm controlling myself. I'm also kind of tucking my pelvis under a little bit. I don't want to arch my back here. And again, I'm going to start to move overhead. I'm going to come to the point where I can't move overhead anymore. And one thing I notice is my elbow wants to bend, okay, which is a sign that my arm's having trouble going overhead here. So I'm not letting that happen. And instead of forcing my way into that range, I'm just making a circle that allows me to get to kind of control clean motion. And one of the big tips with shoulder cars is, or any car, only use what you can control. So if you're trying to make a bigger circle, but yet it looks like crap, and you're moving real quickly, then it's probably not what you want yet. Okay? Now, one thing I will say is, as we turn this into a training stimulus, what I can do is develop higher levels of tension, start to squeeze more, and then that's going to help me to force my way into more range of motion. Okay, but we're not even worried about that right now. We're just worried about doing this at about maybe 30% of your maximum effort or tension. We just want to be tight enough so other areas don't move, which means that I'm squeezing everywhere at about 30%. All right, so let's say I found a pinch point here, kind of like as I'm overhead. All right, what do we do about that? We're going to do what are called axial rotations. And so when I find that, I'm going to come to just right before that happens. First of all, what we do is we make a smaller circle so we avoid it. But what we do to train and kind of deal with that is I'm going to take my arm, I'm going to push it out of its socket. So I'm just attempting to like push up towards the ceiling above me here and just rotate. Okay, and I'm just rotating my hand in and out. This is called an axial rotation, or in FRC speak, a capsular car. I'm just clearing some space here. Okay, and you think if impingement, which is what kind of the pinching you feel is two bones rubbing together, what I'm trying to do here is kind of pull those bones apart. So I'm just spending some time here. I'm going to move back a little bit, see if I cleared a little bit of range. If I'm good, I'll do the same thing here. And again, just spending time working this range for about maybe 10 reps, and then just accessing one more car to see how that affected it. You know, did we clear the pinching? Is it still going on? And just kind of playing around with that. The same really goes for areas where we don't have control, okay? So using that same range. Let's say I'm moving really at a slow clip to here, but then as I start to turn, it goes like that. I move quickly through that. What I could do then is just get tight and start to just move slowly through that range. Just focusing on that range only. And especially after axial rotations, that's a great thing to do. So you might clear some space and then go back and just kind of work that same range, which is the partial cars idea. So now let's say I'm good there. You know, I can do cars in that position. Next, I'm going to move to standing. So my standing shoulder car, I'll turn this way so you can see me here. I want to think about dropping my ribs down, getting my arm up overhead, turning my palm to face backwards, and then doing a big circle around, and then coming back around and doing the same thing. And I'm actually just going to come way closer so you can see me do this. But I come up to the top here, palm starts to face around, I do a big circle around, and then again, I come back to where I can't move anymore into extension, start to rotate, and I come back through. Again, looking for the same stuff, okay? Again, to make the circle smaller, I can kind of do that motion, that's a lot easier. And then as I gain more range of motion, more control, I can just attempt to move my arm in towards my body and just get a bit more. All right, so our last kind of variation here, and this can either be done in tall kneeling or standing. I'm doing it kneeling, so again, I can get a little bit closer to you here. It's just a blocked shoulder car, okay? And so here, this is really advanced, and this is for once where we kind of get here. I'm pushing my body into the wall. It's not allowing me to compensate by leaning my body at all. So this really brings out my true shoulder motion. But again, we really want to clear any kind of issues that we're experiencing with our shoulder before we go here. So again, your homework for today is to choose the shoulder car variation that feels good and comfortable for you. Make note of any pinch points that you are experiencing, and then take some time to play around with axial rotations and partial cars in the ranges of motion where you don't have control or where you feel pinching, and be awesome today. Talk to you soon.